Well, welcome to the LB podcast. You know what I'm saying? It's your boy Kobe. I'm a musician, goes by Late Bloomin'. And this is
Shane Vallot,
man,
not a
listen.
musician.
Yeah, not not a musician. But future very successful business owners. It's nice to just be able to I feel like I can go to you whenever I just need a vent, whenever it comes to this business stuff and because I'm very uneducated when it comes to the business side of things with this music because I just want to play. I just want to do the thing and not have to worry about taxes or this, that, and the third. But yeah, buddy got a really fire quesadilla burger spot. Y'all really need to check it out if y'all in town. It's called Shane's Famous Quesadilla Burgers. But represent, you gotta represent. You gotta plug shamelessly like that. When did you what got you interested into food, or when did you start really getting interested in food?
Well, I mean, I've always been interested in food. Uh, uh,
Fair
my,
enough.
I mean, especially as a kid, I like to eat. I was always the fattest kid. I was always the biggest kid in the room, in my group of friends. I was always just the big kid. They always called me Big Shane. They always put big in front of my name.
You
Um,
got the mic, bro. You said you was always the fattest kid in the room.
so I was always the fattest kid in the room. But I mean, with my friends in high school, middle school, elementary school, I was the biggest kid. I mean, I'm a triplet, and I was the biggest triplet. Um, I was the middle one, but I was always the biggest one. And a lot of people joked and said that it was really four of us, but I ate one of them. Because my other triplet brothers were so small. But and I was into food. I started getting into cooking. Kind of like when I was in high school, I started watching my mom and dad cook. Just kind of because I would see them do it, and I kind of liked seeing them doing it. And me liking food, I also felt like I should probably teach myself how to cook.
Right.
So
You're just
if ever I get
naturally drawn
hungry,
to
if ever I get
it.
hungry and then I did to cook for me, I could do it myself. So I've been drawn to it, man,
I
and
feel
I kind
that.
of just fell in love with cooking.
I feel that. No, I feel like yeah, like how you said, you're just naturally drawn to it. Something just made you want to see what your parents were doing in the kitchen, and you was just naturally interested in that.
Yeah.
That's just like how it is with me with music. Uh, I feel like I was first really drawn to music
Hmm.
when it comes to to be honest, Guitar Hero. Guitar Hero, I loved playing that game. And then the movie called School of Rock with Jack Black. I love
Yeah.
that movie. Like those two things really piqued my interest when it came to music.
Yeah.
And my mom and my dad they would always put on their old school stuff,
Hmm.
and it would just kind of resonate to a certain. I wouldn't know all the words, but just naturally it would resonate, and I would just be like, "Yo, this is really dope," and
Yeah.
but I didn't pick it up till literally way later, but it was enough to get me kind of started to plant that seed for myself, I
Hmm.
guess, because I started playing guitar at 12, 13. So that was kind of like an off and on thing my whole life. But then once COVID hit, I mean nobody was able to do anything. So I'm like, all right, I might as well just try to
Yeah.
go crazy with it,
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
start to really sing and do all that. I always knew I had a voice too, just because when I was learning songs on guitar, I just naturally picked up my voice and I'm like, oh shit, I can sing on some stuff.
Hmm.
Um, but I didn't start songwriting until COVID, and I'm head over heels for it.
Yeah.
I love it. Like my love for it grows more and more every day as I do it. So that I feel like that just tells me okay, this is what I should be doing with my life to a certain degree, I guess. But yeah, man, it's just but it's hard though.
Yeah.
It's hard just being dedicated because you have to be your biggest supporter. You have to be like Because like you are with yourself most of the time, and naturally, I feel like it's just so easy to feed that like bad side and be like, oh no, I'm gonna take this day off. Like how you said the last time we talked, like, oh my boy's in town, so it kind of feels like a vacation, so I'll
Yeah.
just chill here, and then next thing you know, it's you kind of like plateauing.
Yeah.
It's just so easy to like fall into that spiral, and I don't know, man. Like I just, but I feel like what's most important is just because like I don't feel like my 100% all the time. I feel like I barely feel 100%,
Oh yeah.
but I feel like your 100% is like doing what you can every single day. Like so, like if I can only like write a song today, I gotta make sure I do that. Like I gotta
Yeah.
make sure I write a song. If I can't make content, if I can just like make myself watch a podcast or just do whatever. Like I feel like that's like you're improving in those days rather than you just being like, oh, I can't. I'm gonna just chill because
Yeah.
I can only do this.
Yeah.
Like, do you ever feel like that? Like, what's like? How do you?
Absolutely, man. I mean, it's. I think a lot of people underrate life.
Yeah,
Life is hard, especially as you become adult. We young. We just got out of high school not that long ago, then get in college, and then you always, as when you were in high school and college, your parents and your other parents and coaches always told you, enjoy this time while you have it because you're gonna want it back, and you're like, no, there's
in the
no way I would
moment
want
now.
this back in the moment. I can't wait to be done. I can't wait to be adult because you think it's all fun and games.
Mm-hmm.
Um, and then you get there and it's like, man, I wish I would have listened and enjoyed the days, enjoyed them a little better because now we got all these bills. We got,
For sure.
I mean, it's life,
Yeah,
and the thing about life is life won't ever stop, So
never.
no matter if you're having a bad day, you're having a good day,
Time don't
somebody's
slow down for nobody,
time. I
bro.
mean, somebody die when time and life doesn't stop. So there's a lot of times. I mean, I don't know when the last time I've felt 100%. I mean, feeling 100%. I mean, that's you got to be doing everything absolutely right.
Yeah,
You got to be. I mean, get everything you wanted, and that's hard. I don't think there's many people can say they feel 100%. I think there's some of the best artists out there, some of the best songwriters. I mean, like for me, my favorite guy is Luke Combs. I
mm-hmm.
actually watched the podcast on the other day on Luke Combs podcast he did the other day, and he broke down in tears, crying about how like he missed his first kid's birth. He missed it because he was on tour and the kid came a week or two early, and he
Dang,
missed it because he was on tour. So he broke down and he was disappointed that he couldn't be there. But it was a sacrifice he had to make because he was on tour.
yeah, bro.
So I mean, there's people all over the place. I mean, everybody goes through hard times, and everybody has their days, and everybody has good days. But I think what makes people different is how they respond.
Mm,
Because everybody's gonna have a bad day.
I agree.
Your car's gonna break down. You're gonna have a flat tire. You're gonna, you're
I
gonna
look,
lose.
I
You're
look
gonna.
at, I look at those things as opportunities in disguise.
Mm-hmm.
Just because everything I believe, and in my faith, I'm a very not religious, but I'm a Christian. I'm a Jesus follower.
Yeah.
That's what I am. That's who I am. And I just believe that He allows these things to happen because they're for me, not to me. Like life doesn't happen to you; it's for you.
Yeah.
Like it's either it's a blessing or a lesson. Like
Yep.
like and in when it comes to like little things like that, they're not really little things. They're the biggest things that lead to the big thing. You know what
Yeah.
I'm saying? So
Yeah.
like if you can't handle those things the right way, how you respond, you ain't and you want to be great. Like you're not gonna be prepared for the big thing.
Correct.
Like never. Like you're never gonna be that. And I really devote myself to that. And my dad, I use this all the time now. Shout out to my dad because this one thing really stuck out. He's like, make sure you on top of your 5 P's. He says proper preparation prevents poor performance. And I'm like, yo, that's hard. Cause like yo, like if you're not prepared, if you're not sharpening that sword, it's gonna start to get dull.
Absolutely.
Like it's not like it's gonna you have a time frame in between where you're like you can chill before it starts to get like once you stop once you stop working, you decline, regardless if it's like a baby step or like 100 steps.
Yeah,
So
absolutely.
so it's like I really like I really devote myself mentally, especially, bro, because like I feel like everything starts mentally.
Mm-hmm.
Um, people say, "Oh no, you like you go to the gym physically." No, like your mind tells you to go to the gym. Your
Absolutely.
mind tells you to do this. And then you do it physically. Everything else follows. So like, I don't know, man. I feel like I might be like a fucking motivational speaker someday or something. I really don't want to, but like, if God's drawing me to that,
Yeah.
so be it. But I'm just really excited about this because I'm not really focusing on like blowing this thing up. I just want to help someone.
Yeah.
Like if it
No,
helps
absolutely.
somebody out there, then I feel like I'm just doing of service to God, like in that regard,
Of course.
you
And I
know.
think a lot of people need to hear that because a lot of people do um, struggle mentally, and that's the biggest thing. I mean, you got to be mentally stable, mentally tough before you can do anything physically. That's just like I like the gym analogy you brought up because when you wake up in the morning, you got a choice, a decision to make. Depending on your job, your career, you might be able to hit the gym before you go to work. You might have to wait till after, but it's still a
Mm-hmm.
mental choice.
Yeah.
I mean, when I was a teacher 2 years ago, um, I woke up at 5 a.m. every morning to go to the gym before I went to school
Mm-hmm.
because I had a lot going on. I had school, I had just starting up my business, and then I had football practice as well. So I didn't have time to go to the gym after school. I mean, I had time, but it would have been late.
Right.
So I chose to wake up every morning at 5 a.m. And that's hard. That was
Yeah.
not easy. I mean, sometimes I went to bed at 1, 2 o'clock in the morning, and
Right.
then my alarm going off. It felt like I just closed my eyes, my alarm going off.
Mm-hmm.
But it was something that I felt like I needed to do.
Mm-hmm.
I lost 115 pounds over the last 2 years,
Let's
and that
go.
wasn't because I just was going to the gym. It wasn't that easy. It was a mental game, right? It was not just the gym. The gym was only 2% really.
Yeah.
98% of that was what I ate.
Yeah.
And that was the hard thing for me. I love to eat, I love to cook, and I just like the unhealthy stuff.
Mm-hmm.
So dieting was my hardest thing, and now I'm so mentally tough on it that I mean it's nothing for me now.
Right.
But it was mentally challenging for me in the beginning,
Yeah.
and most people can't do it. Most people ask me, "So what did you do?" Some people's like, "Hey, did you get on that new drug that everybody's taking for diabetes, that's just making people drop weight like crazy?" I was like, "No, I didn't do anything." I said, "I wish I would have known about it because that probably been a lot easier than what I did."
Oh, it would have
Um,
definitely 100,000 times
yeah.
percent.
And then you tell people, "Now, man, you make it look so." No, it was not
It
easy at all.
wasn't.
I mean, there was days
That's
where I
the
just wanted to
thing.
give up, and say, "You know what? Maybe I just want to be fat." There's times where I could have just gave up and just say, "You know what? I'm done. This is too hard." But with me, I like being uncomfortable. I like getting out of my comfort zone. I mean, I did it my whole life. I had to walk on at UL. I had to earn my
Yeah.
way, earn my scholarship, became a starter, and you know that wasn't easy. There was times where I wanted to quit. Actually, I tried to quit 3 times.
Football?
Yeah,
Really?
and thanks to my coaches and my brothers and my family who didn't allow me to. But there's times I want to give up. But some people don't see that. They're like, man, he had a great career. He just loved it all. No, I absolutely hated a lot of it.
Yeah, definitely.
Um,
I
but I
so
knew
feel
that it
that.
would make me a better person
Yeah.
if I didn't give up. Because if I quit that easy playing college football, then when I get later on in life into a job that I started to hate, what am I quit that to?
Yeah.
When I get a wife and kids and I get tired of them, I'm going to quit on them.
Right.
So it's just things that
I love that.
it's just worth. Is it worth it? Like, are you gonna give up on it? People think, oh well, I still coach high school football, and a lot of kids they start off playing their freshman year, and by the sophomore, junior year, they end up quitting because they feel like they're not gonna get on the field, or because they feel like, well, it's just football. I will focus on something else. But what they don't understand is, if you quitting that young and that early, then there's a good chance that later on in life when something serious happens, if you quit if that was easy for you to quit, you're gonna think, oh man, well, I can quit right here too,
Definitely.
and then it becomes
A pattern.
a pattern, and you're quitting on everything
It's
until
a
you realize,
cycle at that point.
till when you realize, you can't quit anymore. You're just
Yeah.
done.
Yeah.
And then people start quitting on you and
Mm,
stop believing in you. So I just feel like, there times won't always be great. I mean, you're gonna have good days, you're gonna have bad days. But again, I think the biggest thing is, and I'm still learning. I'm not perfect at all. I
right.
mean, I got a long way to go. I got a lot of goals in life. I got a lot of things I want to do,
Same.
and I'm just starting. But I think a lot of people have a hard time. It's like, you see a lot of people nowadays either committing suicide or just doing stuff in that way. But it's because they feel like they don't have people to talk to, or they don't want
Yeah.
to come out and talk to people.
Definitely.
And that's the hard thing when you're going through. Like, I've learned
It's
so
hard to
much.
talk about
It is
stuff like
some
that.
stuff. It is, but you got to have the courage, to want to talk about
Yeah.
something. Especially if you got that, because everybody has mental issues. I mean, I break down all the time on,
Same.
like I said, this past year has been the hardest year of my life, but
Same.
also the most rewarding year of my life, because I've learned so much.
Mm.
Earlier you said it's lessons and blessings. Well, a lot of lessons are blessings.
Oh yeah.
You know what I mean? So
Definitely.
I think a lot of people think when they go through a hard time, oh, it's just a lesson. But really, that's a blessing. That's the reason why you went through that time.
Right.
So that lesson actually was a blessing,
Mm-hmm.
and it's just not showing yet, but it will show in the future.
Later on.
And
You
and
may
I've seen
not
a
know
lot of
now,
that.
but later you'll understand.
Absolutely. And I tell myself, I'm like, man, why?
Yeah.
Why did this happen? Why did this, why? Just why? And then a year or two later, I'm like, that's why that happened.
I remember that time. It was preparing me for this moment right here. Yeah, man.
And you'll have that all the time. And that's part of it. It's just, again, I go back to how you respond.
Yeah.
A lot of people crash and they don't want to respond from it, and they just let themselves go down.
Mm-hmm.
That's why a lot of people get on. You see a lot of people when they start struggling, they overdose, or they become an alcoholic, and then they get
relying on external, like,
because at the time it makes you feel amazing. You feel like you turn to that.
It's feeling, but not fulfilling.
Absolutely.
You know,
and people struggle with that, but the real is that I can't sit here and tell you it's gonna get better. You see a lot of I watch a lot of TikTok and I watch a lot of podcasts, and it's always it's gonna get better. It's gonna get better. But what is that doing? Well, of course, hopefully it gets better. We want to all think that, but it won't get better if you don't do anything to make it get better.
Right.
Like, it's not just gonna get better by itself.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It's not.
You
it's
speaking
like,
it.
It's like you got a flat tire, right? The only way it's gonna get better is if you go get that flat tire fixed.
Yeah.
Right? But you have to respond and go get it fixed. Yeah, you might be pissed. You might be in the rain. You just got a flat tire in the middle of the interstate, and people flying right by you, and it's pouring down raining. Yes, absolutely. You're probably gonna be mad.
Oh yeah.
But what do you gotta do? You gotta call somebody, get roadside assistance, get this flat tire fixed, and then you back on the way. What if now you realize, oh man, I got that flat tire, but where I was going, let's say you were going to McDonald's or something, and there was a shooting there. Well, you didn't even realize what happened. You got a flat tire, and that saved you from going to the McDonald's and getting shot. So I think there's a lesson in everything.
I just see that as just God, bro.
It is.
Like, it's just God.
It is, but you got to believe. You got to believe.
You have to.
And that's the thing. A lot of people, might not or might want to believe, but just don't understand why. But it's something that I feel like you gotta have. You gotta respond. You gotta make that decision yourself. It's not something that's just gonna happen.
Yeah.
You can't. A lot of people, when something happens, they're like, "Why me, God?" Or then they want to start praying. Well, you can't do that. You can't do that when something bad's happened. You need to pray when something
bad.
Good.
Yeah, like when so many people, bro. And I was a victim of this. But like I would only go to God whenever I needed Him.
Absolutely, I was the same way.
It was a relationship where I felt like I needed to have, not want to have.
Yep.
Once you start to flip that, instead of got to, I get to. Mm-hmm. In everything in life, like I mean, people don't. We're not forcing like religion or Christianity or anything on you, but like it's just when it comes down to it, I just feel like everybody, we just try to do good, bro. Like just try to do good, And I feel like just latching on and fighting for like the positive thoughts and just applying that to your daily life, that will make a drastic change.
Absolutely.
Like drastic. I get the goosebumps talking about it just because I was so negative just in every aspect of life, literally like 2 years ago. And once I started to really flip that mindset of like, no, like this is like, I'm able to do so much. I'm beyond blessed. I don't even know how many things that I'm able to do. That's how blessed I am.
Yeah.
Blessed I am. Like I'm overwhelmingly blessed. So like applying that and like that all of a sudden like I'm talking different. I'm talking like and I'm getting responses like, oh man, like people like there needs to be more people like you. Like your energy is great. Like
Yeah.
you're like a breath of fresh air. Man, that make me like tear up just
Yeah.
because like things like that I've never got that.
Absolutely.
I've never got that. And in those moments like like God speaking to me in those moments, I believe because he's like, look, see, look what you're doing. Like your work is paying off. Like keep going kind of thing. Um, so like I don't know, man, and it's really people will say I feel like all the time like, oh, it's hard to like just no, it's easy to like just do good or just to be positive. I disagree. Just because, and you know, there's studies that show it too. Negative thoughts tend to latch on 3 times easier than positive.
Yeah.
You have to fight for positive.
Yeah.
You have to fight to do good because it's so easy to just be reckless or do
Yeah.
whatever and just be a like just add more darkness to this world already. You know, I just want to be a light and I just
Yeah.
want to be just I want to speak fruit to people. I want to be fruitful to people. I want to just be like Jesus.
Yeah.
You know, like honestly, like so just and it just comes with the little things. Like what would Jesus do in this moment? Like how would he respond?
Yeah.
And just naturally responding the right way in that. So like me growing in that, and I'm still doing that. Like
Yeah.
I still fall. Like I mean, I'm still sinning. Like live in a sinful world. But like I'm gonna make sure I repent. I'm
Yeah.
gonna make sure I'm right. You know, now rather than like previously. I just didn't care.
Yeah.
But it what I'm trying to say is when it's just like you making those changes, drastic change is gonna happen. And when I say drastic change, I don't mean like your life externally may just all of a sudden you go from not successful to successful, but like just internally, you just feel better, bro.
Yeah.
Like honestly, like
Absolutely.
you know, I'm living proof of that. You know, people like from other people, like I was literally the only one at my work that got acknowledged for just being a positive person and a light in like the kitchen and where I work. I'm like, that means everything to me rather than just having a successful career right now or in like music or whatever I'm doing. Just because that's defining me as a person.
Yeah.
Like those things like treating people, how am I talking to people, how I'm responding when stuff hits the fan in whatever you know, it's just like working on being better at those things.
Yep.
It just makes a drastic change in your life, bro.
Absolutely, man. I think just more people need to realize that, and it's not easy. Like you said, it's
Mm-mm.
not easy at all. Again, I struggle with negative thoughts all the time.
Same.
Something goes bad. The first thing that comes to mind is
Negative.
negative thought. Oh, I should just give up, man. It's not worth it. When I do things and I present ideas, my dreams are crazy, and they should be. If you, this quote is, "If your dreams don't scare you, they're not dreams,"
Yeah. You got
and
to
it's
be
true.
delusional to a certain degree.
It's true, and people look at me like, "Man, are you crazy?" Like when I opened my restaurant, people looked at me like, like what? You're not gonna make it, man. You're not gonna do it." So it's just things like that I could easily be like, you know what, they're right. I'm not even gonna try.
Yeah.
But I love a good risk, and I'm gonna take them, because
I
again, my
love
dreams
that.
are scary,
Mm-hmm.
but I like them, and I'm
Mm-hmm.
gonna chase them until I get to them. And
Mm-hmm.
if I don't, you know what, I'm fine with that. But at least I tried.
Mm-hmm.
Um, and I think a lot of people just need to think about that. There's gonna be times where, man, you negative thoughts and negative things are gonna happen, but at the end of the day, it's ultimately up to you.
For
It's the
sure.
it's the way you handle it. It's the way you respond. and it's the way you speak life into yourself.
Definitely.
You know, a lot of
To
people,
yourself.
a lot
Yeah.
of people will speak life into other people, but don't speak life into themselves, and that's tough.
Mm,
I was the same way, man. I was, I could speak life into anybody else, but I couldn't even pick my own self up.
yeah.
So that's tough. But when you start to realize your self worth and your self value, I think that's when you can realize like, all right, this is what I need in life.
Yeah.
This is how I need to. This is how I should respond in certain situations. This is how I should
And
pick myself up.
that's when things start to change. I love using that little things thing just because like I feel like it shifts and it changes, makes people look differently about it. Because really, they're like, oh no, like he's right. Just because like, are you like keeping up with your like your room space? Are you doing like the little things right? Because they're really the big things. They lead to the big hoorah.
Yep.
You know, like, and I feel like what differs people is how they're like approaching that and how they're seeing that. Are they seeing it as like just a chore and like something that they have to do, or is it something that we get to and it's building us and it's getting us prepared for what's coming?
Yeah.
Um, and like that's huge, man. Like I really and honestly, when you start to develop in that way, you start to like how you said like you like being uncomfortable, like you start to like that feel, you start to like, and because I notice like to a certain degree when I'm working on myself, I caught myself being kind of like too stagnant and too still,
Mm-hmm.
and I didn't like that. I didn't like how like I was like kind of still and stagnant just because I wasn't doing anything for an extended amount of time.
Yeah.
And I didn't like how that felt. So that told me like, oh no, like I need to do something. I need to like do something either different or just do more.
Yeah.
Just because I'm like starting to chase that like that discomfort because
Mm-hmm.
I know I'm getting better,
Yeah.
you know. Um just because like I don't know, man. I just like how you said I have big goals as well, and I mean they're not gonna get. I'm not gonna reach them if I'm just chilling.
Absolutely.
You know,
You got to respond and make a move for it. Otherwise,
it's gonna stay a dream.
yeah, goals will just be dreams, but you got to chase it, man.
That's
You got
so
to chase it.
fire. What's that? What's that's a poem?
Yeah, it's a poem, The Man in the Glass. It's kind of something just about like looking yourself in the mirror and realizing who
Yeah,
you are before you, you know, think something else about somebody else.
yeah. I
I think
like
that's
that.
huge. I think you got to realize yourself before you can, you know, well, put it this way: you got to love yourself before you can love
Yeah,
anybody else.
I love
It's
people the way
huge.
you love yourself.
Yep. Yep.
I've had my fair share of moments where I really would like to take back just because of how I responded and what I said and like because words hurt, bro. Like they really
Oh yeah.
like moments of like saying something like that's mean or like just kind of like not good. It makes you like I feel like that those moments are like way worse than any like physical pain by any means, just because like and plus I'm very like sensitive. I'm an emotional person.
Absolutely.
I'm
Me
like
too.
I'm like whenever like I feel a lot. So like whenever people say something that's kind of like, dang, it's really hard to see like what's actually going on,
Yeah. I'm thinking a
which
little
is
harder than
yeah,
most people
which
would.
is like I know you got your problems. It's hard to see that like other people have problems as well just because of how they're responding. Prime example, I went into that Delcom Texaco and paid for gas and I wanted to get some change for like 100, and I gave her 100. I was like, "Excuse me, ma'am. Like, do you have like change for 100 or whatever?" Um, Homegirl said, "This is a gas station. What you think?" And I'm like, "Okay, I'm not
Mm-hmm.
gonna say what I really want to say just because I know that you going through something. Just
Yeah.
because I didn't cause you to respond that
Yeah. Yeah.
way.
Yeah.
You
Absolutely.
know, it's just little things like that. But I wasn't aware of that before I was really tapping in and
Yeah.
was really working on myself because that's that's why it's so important. I feel like it is to just like work on yourself and just do your best at just being the person that you were created to be, because you ain't, I mean, you're not going to be aware of those things. You're not going to treat people right. You're not going to see the flaws in other people
Yep.
just because you're going to be just as emotional as them, and you're going to be blinded by that. So I'm like I said, man, I'm blessed to be able to work on myself and to develop that awareness and to chase my dream and to just have good people
Yeah.
around. You know what I mean? I have really good friends and good people to talk to. And because like I feel like a lot of people can't say that off the jump. Like they
Yeah.
can't, like people can't go to people, good people, and just like have like some sense talking to them whenever they need. you
Absolutely,
know
man.
I can definitely say I have that in my life all around.
Yeah.
um but yeah, man, I love your parents too, by the way. I love them. They're so dope. They're
Yeah, man.
so
I think
dope.
they did a great job with all
Hmm.
four of us. And that's where it started. It started with them, and then they just kind of just brought into us, and we all have the same goals in life, and we all try to do the same things.
Hmm.
Um, but end of the day, man, it's all about perspective. It's all about
Yeah.
um, what you make it. Life is that quote that's I heard when I was a kid, man. Life is what you make it, and it truly is.
Hmm.
100% truly is what you make it. Nobody can make it for you. You got to make your own decisions. You will make bad ones. I've made multiple bad decisions that I regret. But again, it was a lesson, and I learned from it. So
Hmm.
it's okay to make a bad decision, right? Depending on how bad it is.
Yeah.
But you got to learn from it, and you can't let it happen again. If you
Yeah.
constantly keep making them, then again, life is what you make it. Don't
Definitely.
complain when your life is going down here and you see somebody else, your friend or your best friend, his life is just going up, but he's making good decisions.
Right.
And you're like, man, this guy's just lucky, or he's making it look easy. But no, he's not making it easy. It's because he's grinding,
Yeah.
and he might have made some bad decisions too, but he's responding well, not doing them again.
Yeah. For
And that's just
sure.
part of it, man. It's
And even I feel like even if like, because I would catch myself falling into this mindset too. Like I would see like my friends doing, and see that's whenever it's bad on my part because I'm comparing, um, in a bad way.
mm-hmm.
Um, they say comparison is the thief of joy. That, and I really believe that as well. But anyway, I feel like I'm doing all I can, da 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 da. But like my friends or people that are near me are doing better than me, this and that. Um, I feel like I just gotta focus in those moments that I just gotta keep doing what I'm doing, because eventually it'll work out. It's different to dwell on that and to just stop and to
Yep,
just let that slow me down. And
absolutely.
that's whenever it becomes like an issue on my part. But regardless of where we're at, I feel like as long as you just keep like striving to just be better, um, God's divine timing is perfect, man. Like it's just
Yep,
regardless if like your friend is gonna be like, yeah, man, like no, I can help you out with this. Like, well, your friend wouldn't have helped you out if you was just letting that dwell and you was just like being a bum or whatever. No, like your friend keeps seeing you grinding regardless of like
correct.
situation you're at. So he's gonna help you just because like you work your
Yep,
tail off and you respond the right way. So like regardless of where you at, I just feel like if you just continue to work, it's just gonna fall into place, man. I really believe that.
I do, man. I do.
Um,
I truly do.
it's really good, man. Um, trying to think of something else, but I feel like we touched on a good bit.
Oh yeah,
That was fire.
that was that was good.
um, yeah, man. Again, if y'all in the area, check out Shane's Quesadilla Burgers. It's so fire. Y'all got like some new things on the. You be coming up with
We came out
so
with a
much.
bunch of new stuff. We got some good stuff coming up real soon. That I'm excited about. New menu and everything coming out. So I'm excited. Just stay tuned. I guess follow us
Yeah,
on
man.
social media. And
It's gonna be all in the description. You feel me?
yeah,
That's gonna be all in there. You can follow me on all social media platforms. There is the LB podcast 248 links that are going to be under there, but my primary line of work, I guess you can say, is I'm an independent artist that goes by Late Bloomin'. It's gonna be somewhere. I'll edit it. But Instagram, Spotify, like all those links are gonna be in there. And yeah, man, it's been a pleasure, bro.
I appreciate you
For
having me, man.
sure, definitely.
That was good.
Hopefully, we can do it again or do something like.
Absolutely.
Cause this was
Maybe
fire.
next time we'll be eating a quesadilla burger.
Yeah.